All right, it looks like we've stalled out a bit, so we'll go ahead and get started. But welcome, everybody. As a certified Sentricon specialist, you all provide the best termite protection on the market. But in a digital first world, you need expertise to be visible. So today we're moving beyond seasonal thinking and turning your website into a 24/7 lead generation engine. As we go through the presentation today, feel free to utilize the chat for any questions that you might have, and we'll be able to hold some time at the end for Q&A. So before we dive into today's topics, I'd like to quickly introduce myself as well as my colleague Daniel. My name is Meredith Nystrom, and I am an account supervisor at Two Rivers Marketing. My team partners alongside Rachel Wheeler and the Sentricon team on the Certified Sentricon Specialist program, and we host quarterly educational webinars available for the entire CSS network. I've been with Two Rivers for about a year and a half, and I have over 10 years of industry experience across numerous sectors of marketing. I'd also like to introduce my colleague, Daniel Barrera, who is a part of the Two Rivers digital marketing team. Daniel is based in Houston, Texas, and specializes in localized marketing. He's been with our agency for over 3 years, working with Centricon for the last two. And his expertise in digital marketing and the local tactics has been really his primary focus for the last couple of years, also collaborating with AI, data privacy, and e-commerce. So starting off, I'll touch on some of the topics that this webinar will cover today. We will first discuss the customer journey, and then we will cover paid and organic tactics as they move through the consumer funnel. We'll identify how to convert that traffic into leads, and finally, we'll walk through the value of nurturing those leads once obtained. The back half of this time will focus on the 2026 CSS program and some of the key program benefits and resources that are available to you and your marketing teams. So again, if you have any questions throughout our presentation today, you can add them directly into the chat, and we'll have some time at the end to further discuss. So with that, I will hand off to Daniel to kick off our content.
Thank you so much, Meredith. Welcome everybody. We on the topic today, we're going to be covering on the webinar today, we're going to be covering the different topics, and we are going to start talking about the customer journey. First, we want to I want to let everybody know here in this call, love warm season. I think it's our favorite season. Where all the work is start ramping up. But as you might know, also that season, which is between spring and summer, is the most expensive time to buy a lead. It is important for pest control companies to focusing on awareness all year long. That way we can catch homeowners when they are in the research mode or on a research phase before they panic, and if they get any pest control or any termite control during the swarm season, they don't panic, and the price shopping. They are looking for 5 different companies, 10 different companies. So we are always on top of mind. So there are 2 different phases that we're going to be touching up in this webinar. And we're going to be talking about in this webinar the high competition, but also the low competition, where you can customize all your campaign and all your digital tactics and efforts throughout the year. In the homeowner's journey, trust right now, 2026, trust is the primary currency. Being a certified Sentricon specialist gives you the immediate halo effect. You are not just another pest control company. You are the local authority for the leading termite control solution or the termite solution. But remember, the buyer's journey is just not straight as we think about or as it was a couple of years ago. Homeowners will check your reputation across multiple platforms. Before they even submit a form, they might be start researching different companies online on different platforms. They can go to Google Business Profile to look for the reviews. They can check your Facebook if you are posting anything on Facebook, on Instagram, on any social media. They see how active is the community. They look for what they are talking to you, talking about you. And they are also looking for any other badges on Nextdoor, on Yellow Pages. So it is not just as a straight line as it was before. It is taking a look on different platforms and taking a look on all the resources that the internet right now is giving users. Leveraging that authority, as I mentioned before, means ensuring that that you have the certified status and the high quality Sentricon imagery consistent across all your listings, across all your platforms. So when your local reputation on Google Business Profile shows up, everything, all the information matches, and your brand authority, Google is taking that as your brand authority, and all at the end of the day, everything is going to match with the information that you're gonna be having on your website, and on that effect, everything is going to be in a circle. Everything is going to be connected, and you're going to have the best reputation on Google's eyes. So for years, a website, it was just a brochure. It was just a place where people were just looking about your phone number in the About Us section, or it was something that it was just a requirement if you wanted to be a competitor on the digital landscape. Right now, it is not just a brochure. It is a system that is going to be acting as your lead engine. Think about this way. A brochure, it just sits there. An engine drives things toward, drive things forward. A lead engine doesn't just wait for someone to call. It captures their interest, it qualifies them, and targets different forms, feeds with different data. The website is not anymore acting just as a requirement. It's acting as a support for all your digital tactics. Your website is the hardest working employee because it is going to be 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all the time, even when your office is closed. People is looking at you. That is why it is going to be very important to go from the waiting to approach the passive website to an active lead engine, to an active source where users are going to be looking at you all the time. It is going to be very important to transform all your websites for that static visualization to an active engine where users are going to be looking at you on your mobile devices, on their tablets, on their websites, on their computers at work. So it is going to be a engine where your brand authority and Sentricon is going to be reflected on that website. So right now, your website, it is going to be very important. And that is why we want to talk about how you are going to be filling up those part of the funnel on generating leads. Initially, a healthy business doesn't just rely in one source, as I mentioned. It can be just your website, your social media, your Google Business Profile, your listings. You need top funnel content to introduce the termite thread, and bottom of funnel ads to catch the person to catch all the person and everyone that is looking at you. It is just not only looking at the search ads. It's not just looking at at social media, at organic. It's a full funnel where you're going to be initiating all the conversation from the campaigns that you are doing, capturing the leads on your website, how you're going to be responding to all of those leads that are going to be captured on the website or in another social platform or digital platform, and then you're going to be adding the service. So it's a full funnel where you are going to be matching those actions, digitally speaking, with the actions and the customer satisfaction with your team. When you're going to be contacting your leads, you're going to be providing the service. But also, you are not just leaving your leads there, not just leaving your customers there, also maintaining those leads and maintaining the relationship and the customer satisfaction and retention for not just 1 day, one year, or not just for a couple of years, but for throughout the year or throughout different seasons. So as I mentioned, 2026 has changed drastically. Um, at the end of 2025, I would say Google made some updates when the front page of Google is no longer as it was before, just giving 10 different blue links or 10 different results on the search results. Now it is a complex hierarchy where all the information is going to be designed to give homeowners an answer before they even click. As I mentioned, authority, it is going to be very important for you to take into consideration. Users are not necessarily are going to be clicking at your website or to the ads. It is going to be very important to show up on all the results possible. As a look at the screen right now, so you can see this is how usually a user is going to be looking if they type termite control near me. They're going to see different kind of results. They're going to see on top the local service ads, which right now it is going to be very important for termite control services. If you want to be the first, you need to pay. And you need to pay to get the Google verification or Google verified, which we're going to be talking about in a second, to get ahead on all the results. You're going to see the local results. That's why it is going to be very important to have your local businesses and your listings synchronized with your website. So your Google is going to give you the authority that on the search results. If your listings, if your website, if your social media is not accurate and don't provide accurate information, you're not going to be showing up on the results. Also, you're going to see the one more results, the new heavy hitter, which is the AI overview. Google's AI is now reading your website and your listings and also your reviews in real time, summarizing all of that information and providing users a quick response about you termite control services near their area. So that's why including the certified Sentricon specialist, the CSS logo, or your badges on your website and across all your listings, it is going to be very important. So Google creates that authority and cite you and your website as a source. That is how you're going to be capturing initially the initial leads for you. So right now, the local pack, which is maps, people people also ask for the local ads. Right now, it is going to be a heavy it's going to be a heavy competitor with all the other agencies and all the other businesses that are going to be around your area. So having this and taking this into consideration is how we are going to be talking about leads. Leads, we are going to be, this is one of the biggest and main recommendations that we're going to have for on capturing leads. The implementation on Google local service ads or LSA is going to be very important with this with this kind of leads. You're going to be looking on positioning your brand on top number one. You're going to pay only for conversions. You're going to get a badge where is going to be showcasing on Google results that you are Google verified. Previously, for the termite control industry, it said Google guaranteed. So right now, Google guaranteed is no longer available. So everyone who wants to advertise needs to be Google verified. So you're gonna have to take specific actions on providing background checks, insurance, licenses about Sentricon, about your termite control services, so you can show up on the results. But this kind of ads or this type of ads is gonna give you the initial lead generation that you can get because users are going to be clicking on call you directly or booking an appointment or specifically messaging you. These kind of ads are going to be helping you strongly to get those leads and those quick leads. If you are capturing users in the first impression on Google results. So this is the initial recommendation that we can have for you. Also, taking into consideration that we have, and we're going to be talking about that in a second, you're going to have several options and several resources on Sentricon Central. So you can capture different kind of ads, different messaging, but we're going to be talking about that in a second. Using ads across all the different platforms is going to be very important to capture those leads that are going to be very important. Now, moving forward with how you're going to be converting that traffic that we just mentioned to leads. And I'm going to be coming back to one of the initial thoughts or comments that I was making. Your website. Your website, it is going to be the most important piece of all the capturing your leads. You need to have the trust signals that I was mentioning. So Google capture and read your website and shows that up on the results. You need to add on your website CSS badges or logos, all the certifications that you have. You need to have specific sections on within your website where you can users can click to call or submit their form. But it is going to be very important, and this is a very important point. Statistics show that if you don't capture a user within 5 seconds, they are not going to convert on your website. So you have 5 seconds to showcase to users that are visiting your website that you have a phone number display on your website, that you have a form, that your website it is working correctly. So you have those initial 5 seconds to initially convert someone. So that is why it is going to be very important to have phone numbers to call with clickable action for users to call on mobile devices or any other devices. So if your phone number is hidden on the contact us page or on the about us page, you usually are not going to be converting. So it is going to be very important to have that the form that I was mentioning on that specific page for Sentricon page, where you're going to be talking about the service, how Sentricon works. What is the differentiation with the service that some other competitors can have? So your leads are going to be 70% of your leads are going to be looking at your site through different platforms, and that's going to be very important to capture for smartphones, for mobile devices. So it is not just as I mentioned, a brochure. It is just an active worker that is going to be 24/7 for you, working for you and generating those leads. So how once they land on the website, how they're going to be how you're going to be treating those leads and how you're going to be nurturing those leads. Let's talk about the hidden ROI. Many of you feel like a lead doesn't just book an inspection in the very first call. And because they don't do that, they don't book at the first call, that lead is dead. And that might be a misconception. That is a massive misconception. In fact, I have the homeowners that reach out to some of the to your website or try to get a call. They can get they are requesting a quote, they are requesting some information, but with that information, they are just testing the waters and they are researching about your company, about the service, asking for how much it's going to cost. That is where all the nurturing needs to start. You can get some information from users, either the phone number, the email, and it's how you're gonna be start nurturing your users. You are gonna be is gonna be very important to enable automation. The content that you're going to be providing to users, it is going to be very important. It is just not just creating a call or generating a call and asking for a book a service. It is educating also the user. By automating the system, the homeowner can get a thank you email initially after an hour, for example, or less than an hour when they submit their form. A thank you email, reaching out to them, calling them about what are their needs, creating or sending an email about what Sentricon is, the testimonial about the service that you provide. That's how you're going to be enabling those relationships. Also, it is important to consider that research shows that nurturing emails result in 20% lift in sales, or just to create a top of mind a consideration for you and your business within the local services. You aren't just waiting for them to remember you. You are systematically guiding them to go back to your website until they are ready to buy if they don't convert at the first time. That's the difference between one and done call and the professional sales machine. You're going to be generating and creating that information for users on the nurturing campaign. So there are three different phases that we want to consider and we want to provide to you on nurturing emails, on nurturing your leads. The first, the immediate connection. The moment that someone fills out a form or call, they should get an automated welcome email that sets expectations. You can say something about, we got your back and here's what happened next. And if you send an initial email after a service, you can also ask for reviews about the customer experience. You can send them a link about a review, placing a review on Google Business Profile. And that's how the reputation also is going to start working for you. So the initial email, the first email, it is going to be very important, or the first communication is going to be very important because it's going to set it's going to create a goal, an initial goal that you are responsive to your leads. And that is going to be very important. Being responsive with your leads, it is going to be the first step when you're going to create that connection with your users. Second, you're going to create the second email or the second piece of communication is creating that authority. This is how the homeowner is going to continue thinking about you. After the initial email or communication, you can send this second one in the next 2 weeks, a week or the next 2 weeks, where you can educate your user about Sentricon, for example, the gold standard and why being CSS certified specialist is important for you, for the community, for them as a users. And you are selling the expertise where the users are just probably in a research mode. And finally, the third piece of communication that we are always advising to send is the evergreen campaign or the evergreen drip campaign, is where you are going to continue generating awareness. This, for example, can be an email that can be sent in the winter as a winter checklist. So you can keep your name, your brand, and Sentricon on top of mind for users where they are not actively researching for the services for termite control, for example. But when the ground warms up and the swarms start, they can go to Google and they can remember your name, and you can be on top of their mind all the time. So nurturing campaign is not just set and forget; it's continuing creating and continuing generating information for users. Finally, when we talk about a nurturing campaign or nurturing your leads, it is going to be very important, the CRM integration. Everything that we've discussed, the Google ads, the social media ads, the SEO, the listing management, the email nurturing, leads to critical moment. this CMS integration. If your website leads to a landing page to a regular landing page where you're generating leads via just email in Outlook or Google Gmail, you are losing money. A CRM integration is going to be the bridge that ensures that lead form and your website flows directly to your team, to your sales team, or your reps in real time. In the termite world, speed is a competitive advantage. If you call a homeowner back in 5 minutes after they submit their information, your chances to reaching out to them are 100% times higher than if you wait more than an hour, for example. But that integration that you're going to have in your CRM, it is going to be is how you're going to get to your teams and notification on their phones, automating responses, and you're not going to have those manual interactions or having sticky notes or notes on a notepad or saying, "Oh, I forgot to email this client." So by having the integration with your CRM, it is going to be the most efficient way how you can treat and you can nurture those leads. You can set some expectations on this client needs to be sent a reminder in 1 or 2 months, for example, or 1 or 2 weeks. We provide a service to this customer at this time. You will need a second reminder. So automating everything on the CRM, it is going to be creating that truth on data on how your leads are and how your customers are, what are their needs. And you're going to be able to exactly see which which marketing tactic they are coming from. If either it is from an organic blog or a Google ad, they actually result in a really good lead. So when your website and your CRM talk to each other, you will stop guessing, and you're going to continue and start growing your business. So all of these are some tactics that we are recommending for you to integrate and how you're going to be trading your leads for termite services. So with all of this information, I'm going to pass it over back to Meredith, who's going to be talking about some of the resources that we also have for you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Daniel. So as I mentioned at the top of the agenda, the CSS program for 2026 includes many different resources for you and your teams this year. So we're going to spend the next couple of minutes just reviewing what you can access today and what is coming soon. So at a glance, there's 4 different key resources available that we're going to talk through today. There you go. The first is going to provide content ideas, creative assets, and templates, and that is what is available as of today for you. Then we'll talk about the digital best practice guides. We are also offering a local listings management program for any CSS to enroll in, so we'll talk through a little bit more there. And then finally, we have an upcoming visual guide in the works that is intended to be a resource for your teams and your techs during inspections with customers. So we'll take a look at what that looks like in a bit. If you want to flip to the next slide, we will start off with that content and creative bucket that I mentioned. So we designed a 2026 content planning calendar, and this is not intended to replace any of your current efforts, but intended to work in conjunction with your current marketing strategy and plans for termite control. So each month in the calendar, we've outlined some priorities along with relevant topics, tactical considerations all around termite control. So there's now also a resource row. You'll see, we'll zoom in a moment on the next slide for each month, and that has assets that are available in Sentricon Central for access and download. So you can leverage some of these resources alongside your 2026 marketing plans and use as needed throughout the year. So here we just have a closer look. This is what's upcoming for March. You can see that it is the beginning of swarm season, so we definitely recommend having some content around educating consumers about what is swarm season, and of course, Termite Awareness Week that happens mid-month. For some ongoing tactics, you might want to consider running search ads, some display, paid social, and email. There's also a great blog post that you can leverage on Sentricon Central about what you need to know about termites swarm season available that you can leverage for your plans as well. So on the next slide, these are just some more creative assets, again, that are available for you and your team to use specifically during March. So all the way to the left, we've created a termite prevention checklist graphic, and we will also have a new social post and some display banners available for download and use coming soon. Then we have that blog post that I mentioned on the second slide. So that is up and available. Again, a great thing that you can leverage, whether that's on your website or if you're looking to link out with some existing campaigns for what you have in market there. That's a great resource. And then all the way to the right, you'll see that we've created some digital guidelines and best practice documents, which I'll talk more about in a moment. But these are intended for your team's ongoing use and review when integrating some of these new assets into your marketing campaigns. And then, like I mentioned previously, Termite Awareness Week is happening in March. So definitely want to have some content around that. So then on this side, we will just review. We also made some general campaign assets and templates. These are intended for ongoing use as you feel fit. So thus far, we have a template for every door direct mail or EDDM, where you're able to utilize that template and update it with your company's logo, contact information, anything that you would feel relevant. We have designated space on that asset for you to go ahead and put in that information accordingly. We also have a campaign template for Performance Max, Meta, display ads. We have a sample Google business post, and then we also have an SEM campaign keyword template for reference or use, all of which can be customized with your company's information as you need. So then we're just going to take a look at what that looks like if you are interested in leveraging one of those assets for customization. So on the screen, you'll see an example of an asset that was created for co-branded use for every door direct mail. So this is our mailer. And you can see at the bottom here some of those gray areas that are intended for dual branding. So this would be where you would be able to put a logo or a great graphic or some of the contact, or definitely some contact information so that you can leverage this as needed. And then the cool thing with these assets is that we've also created supplemental best practice guides. And this one in particular also has step-by-step instructions for implementation. So you can both leverage how to open up this file on your end and make those edits as you need. And then also implementation if you're looking to utilize this in market. So quickly, just to touch on how you will be able to use this, you'll see these instructions throughout, but everything is uploaded and available on Sentricon Central. You'll scroll, you'll see marketing resources for Sentricon, certified Sentricon specialists. You'll go ahead and click that. All of these assets then fall into visibility for you there. So you'll just pick, in this case, it would be your every door direct mailer. Download that asset, download the guide that goes with it, and then be able to customize and utilize accordingly within your 2026 plans. So this next slide is our digital best practice guides that I've mentioned a couple of times. We created one for social media best practices, Performance Max best practices. Performance Max, we've had a lot of success on with our pilot program in the past, so highly recommend utilizing that guide if it's not something that is in your current marketing plans. Definitely a great resource. SCM and website best practice guides are in there as well. So each have helpful tips on success for these platforms. And then where applicable, we've also plugged in some sample copy that you can go ahead and utilize and just update as needed in those guides or in those applications. Okay, so next I'm going to touch on the local listings program that I had mentioned. So as a benefit to being a CSS in Sentricon's network, you have the opportunity to, in 2026, to enroll in our local listings management program that's managed by our team at Two Rivers Marketing. And we are able to offer a reduced group rate. So Sentricon is supporting CSS's participation in this program and committed to the CSS success, recognizing that this is a really critical in having an accurate, complete, consistent listings that will help drive SEO, leads, and sales ultimately at that local level. So we know that local listings, to manage a local listing system can be really time intensive, and our team is able to really help alleviate that burden with oversight, really letting you invest that time back into your business. So we're able to deliver on results and ultimately give you the benefit of a cost savings advantage because we have that reduced rate. So you'll see this QR code here will lead to our enrollment form. So if you're interested, you can go ahead and access that now. I'm sure it'll be available in the follow-up, and it'll also be available in this recording as well. And it's on the next slide that we will talk through in a moment. So our local listings program ultimately helps you create that single source of truth for your pest control brand, allowing your business data to instantly sync with 70 plus leading publishers like Google, Bing, Apple Maps, Waze, Yelp, and more, really making it easy for customers to help find you. To rank high in local Google searches, your business information must be consistent everywhere online. It can't just be on your website. It needs to make sure it matches and syncs across all publications. And so this program will really help do that. And again, my team at Two Rivers Marketing, we will help facilitate oversight and just general management of those listings for you. So if you're interested in enrolling in this program, like I mentioned, that QR code will take you to the link. We've also included some pricing just for reference on the screen here. That does vary by the number of locations that you would want enrolled in the program. And if you have any questions, you can definitely reach out to Rachel or myself or my team at Two Rivers. We are more than happy to answer anything. It is really key to have some sort of listings management program in place. So if you don't have that right now and you're looking for support, please let us know what questions you have, and definitely consider this program for your business for this year. Okay, and then the last resource we are going to touch on is that digital customer education guide that I mentioned. So this is not available yet. I will say it is coming soon, but we will have it as a resource to help ultimately arm your service teams with educational content that's going to be geared to the homeowner audience and help educate them on the Sentricon system and the benefits of an in-ground solution. So the format is going to be digital, so just think on tablet, mobile, and it will help visually demonstrate quickly how the system is able to work. And this guide, similar to those other resources that I mentioned earlier on, will be available in Sentricon Central. So you'll go ahead, just take a look in a couple of weeks when it's there, be able to download that, and then arm your techs with a visual tool for customers as they facilitate those inspections. So just a quick recap of what we talked through and where you can find each of those program resources. So again, for content, ideas, assets, and templates, those are all going to live on Sentricon Central, along with those digital best practice guides. If you are interested in enrolling in that local listings management program that I talked through, you can either use the QR code, reach out to Rachel or to Rivers Marketing directly, and we can help you get set up there. And then finally, make sure to check back on Sentricon Central in the next couple of weeks for the available customer education guide. We are going to keep Sentricon Central updated with assets throughout the year. So we just wanted to kind of focus on what was available today. So you all had that as a resource for your leverage. And then over the next couple of months, we'll continue to add new assets, new resources. So definitely make sure you're visiting Sentricon Central, especially if you feel like you have a month where you have some content gaps or you just need some ideas. So it's definitely intended to be a hub of ongoing updated creative units for this year. Alrighty, so with that, I am going to open the floor up. If there's any remaining questions the last few minutes of the webinar, either with the content that we discussed about lead gens or anything with regard to the 2026 program and resources available. Well, if anything else does come up, certainly reach out to Rachel or ourselves at Two Rivers Marketing. We're happy to be a resource for you all. And otherwise, thank you so much for joining. Have a wonderful rest of your day.